We've got more leaks and a few updates from Ubisoft to talk about, and it's actually like waiting for a bus. Nothing happens and then suddenly two come along at once. Well, we've actually got some really fun things to talk about here. Some new promotional DLC pictures, some achievements, and more leaks found in the game files from Pedder, so what an absolute maestro. But it goes without saying, folks, spoiler alert inbound, and get your salt shaker ready for a few of these. Now let's dive in. First up, we've had 3 promotional shots leaked by, and I hope I get your name right, mate, but it's Agorormente Lumia, I do apologise, on Twitter. Link to the screenshots and his account are in the description, of course. Now, I have no idea how he's managed to pull these out of the bag, but he has done, so big thanks, mate. They do look legit. They haven't been confirmed, though, but unless there's a very talented freelancer graphic designer doing the rounds, I reckon we can call these canon. Now, first up, let's take a look at this werewolf one, and well, that's it, isn't it? There's a werewolf here, which is fantastic, and this confirms what Pedder has found in the game files in regard to Druid transformation spells and attacks, as well as that digging ability, which is very interesting to say the least. Pedder's also recently rustled up a list of all these Druid NPCs in Ireland. He's an absolute magician. Thank you, mate. So pause the video here, folks, if you fancy having a quick perusal of all these NPCs that we'll be picking up in Ireland, Druid orientated, that is. Remember as well, Pedder has also dug up a werewolf scheme in the game files for our Longship, and as discussed in previous videos, the Southern Kings of Ireland believed that they actually descended from werewolves and would go raiding, but they'd actually call it wolfing. Now, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more detail in this video because Pedder has also found more references surrounding the wolfing wolf state, so stand by on that one. But in short, are werewolves coming to Valhalla? I think this is looking more and more likely. Now, one more thing in this awesome picture, and that's the spear. I didn't actually clock this, but Pedder made this fantastic connection and raised a really good question, which is this spear the spear that's been found and referenced in the game files, also called the Bolg? So in a previous leak video, I talk about the Bolg in detail, so go check that out. But just to paraphrase, Pedder has found interactions of a weapon called Bolg in the game files, which actually states fails to react, which is similar to that mechanic of Excalibur. Now, the Bolg is descended from Odin's spear Gungnir and was also owned by Cuchulainn, who is actually believed to be a reincarnation of the god Lu, who is a member of the Tuatha Dé Danann, believed to be the Celtic Isu. A whistle-stop tour, but moving on to our second picture, and it does look like there's a load of druids worshipping some sort of druidic wicker man, but there's also a few more things in this photo to talk about. History Code on our Discord server made an absolutely fantastic shout on the small statue in the bottom right-hand corner of the photo. This is actually called a Boa Island bilateral statue, and it's actually a real thing located in Northern Ireland in Ulster, and is thought to represent the Celtic deity and could represent a Celtic goddess as readily as a god, especially given the name of the actual island Boa. Now, in Celtic culture, heads were very important because they are actually thought to contain a person's spirit after their death. So severed heads were often taken in triumph after battles because there's actual deeper meaning in doing so. Pretty gruesome, but there we go. We've also got that Celtic 3 conjoined spiral symbol on the left hand side. Now, this is called a Triskelion, and my Irish friends call me up on that because I'm not 100% sure if I actually got that correct, but let me know what is the correct way to pronounce it. But this Triskelion is actually carved into the stone at the main entrance of Newgrange, which is that prehistoric monument in County Meath, Ireland, and that actually predates the pyramids and Stonehenge, so I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of it. I think the inclusion of it in this photo is completely intentional, and I reckon we'll probably going to be picking up some sort of illusion encounter whenever we see it, but who knows. And finally, if you just look over to the right hand side of this photo, we've also got the Celtic Tree of Life logo, and this does seem to be making consistent appearances throughout many games in Assassin's Creed. Pedder's also found in the game files a ship scheme with this particular emblem, and the Celts actually believe they came from trees, so considered them very magical and living beings. Now, trees were actually said to guard the land and acted as a doorway into the spirit world, so it's looking even more likely that this will have some sort of significant meaning going forward into Ireland. Now, moving into our third photo, and that's Eivor receiving some sort of blessing from the locals, but more importantly, we've got ourselves a cool new hairstyle that I can see there. It looks like new armor, a new weapon, new shield, and I've got to be honest, this looks a lot more warrior Viking-like than we've actually had before, so it's a very welcome addition. That scythe sickle kind of weapon we've got there also looks really fantastic, but what do you think of it? I know it's not one-handed swords, but it's a new weapon type, and I'm really looking forward to giving it a whirl. Now, moving on to a few more leaks from our resident community hacker man, and that's Pedder. He's managed to dig up some more juicy info for us in the game files, which relates to what we've just talked about and in previous leak videos as well. As always, pinch of salt here, but Pedder called the werewolves appearing in the DLC weeks ago, and here we are with promo art featuring a werewolf, which I think speaks for itself. Saying that though, and he'll agree with me here, keep that salt shaker on hand because this stuff is subject to change, but it's always good fun to talk about and discuss. Now, we've got ourselves a list of factions here, which is absolutely fantastic. So we've got Guthrum, Harold, the Ragnarsons, the Raven clan, and the Wolfen clan. Now, I honestly do think that there's going to be more factions in leaks, but this particular leak is referencing battle cries in the game files. Now, I don't want to tempt fate here or get carried away. I do need to manage my own expectations. But when I hear this, I'm thinking of some sort of battle as noted in the game trailer that we haven't got yet. And I know it's a big jump to think that from just what we've got from a battle cry here. I mean, it could just be patrols against each other. You know how it is, 5-on-5 or what have you. But I'm hopeful. I think this is something to be excited about. Now, what adds more credibility to this is the Wolfen clan, which is named in this leak and I've discussed in previous videos. That's because the kings of the kingdom of Ossuary believed that they were actually descended from werewolves and they went wolfing, which is just another word for raiding. So it's all coming together here and it looks extremely exciting. Now, Ped has also found more ship cosmetics in the game files, so check these out. We've got ourselves some sort of Isu Knight scheme, which I can really appreciate, to be honest, as well as a cool looking angel hologram scheme, and that actually looks really fantastic. I don't think we've seen anything similar to that in the game. And also a snake scheme, which I believe is in reference to Jormungandr. So thanks to Snidge, Unlimited Power, and Yara in the comments who let me know about this snake reference in a previous video. Now, I'll be putting some good length, detailed videos of these ships on my Instagram page in the coming days, by the way. So if you want to get a more detailed, better look at them, the link's down below. Now, you may already be aware, but we've actually had 9 trophies for the DLC that have actually been added to the PS4 network. For some reason, they've been added there and nowhere else apart from the PS4, but JorRaptor did a really good video recap on these, so there's not really much point in me repeating what he said. And in that regard, I've put a link to his video in the description as he breaks down each one well, and it's definitely worth your time and attention if you haven't already seen those leaks. But thanks to VRT on our Discord for getting these across to me, really helpful. Thank you, mate. Now, moving into some concrete updates from Ubisoft, and that's in regard to their developer blog, which they released today, which is really welcome, to be honest with you. They've taken the time to explain to the community how these fixes are going to be conducted internally, and have actually given timeframes on some of the biggest bugs causing issues right now, specifically the Pick of Prophecy, the lack of fish in and around the rivers and coast of England, and the absence of the Elderman quest, which looks like they'll be fixed by the next title update, which Ubisoft have confirmed as being the 27th of April, which is this coming Tuesday. Now, Ubisoft also released this image, which is a quick glimpse at a title update roadmap for the foreseeable future. The only new thing being the title update picture itself, which looks a little bit like some sort of Valkyrie statue. And then we've also got the mastery challenges arriving in late spring, so I'd say early June as spring actually finishes on the 21st of June. In any case, some great stuff there, folks. Hopefully we get something a little bit more legitimate and substantial from Ubisoft in regard to the leaks going forward. But if you've got any value from this, a like down below really does help me out as someone who's quite new to YouTube, so a big thank you. In any case, let me know what you think down below. I love having chats in the comments section. And a big thanks to the man behind the curtain, another great shift pedder. Thank you, mate. Loving your work and looking forward to more of it as we progress into this year. And I think that'll do it for this one, guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and as usual, coffee's on me.